How to make friends as an adult. This is one of the funniest topics that I've had to speak on or write about in a really long time. It's not new. I think the concept of making friends as an adult kind of crossed my path a couple of years ago. There was this video I saw, I think it was on YouTube. I can't remember exactly where I saw that video, but there were all these really, pretty kids, and they kind of put them in the midst of adults, and they just went about, asking the adults, like, why don't you make friends? And one simply said, I think it's so easy to make friends. You can just go to someone and just talk to them. And the adults kept laughing because it's funny, it's not as easy to explain to a child why it's not so easy for adults to make friends. Because for a child, it's just kind of like, why don't you just go over to them and just say hi and just literally start playing like almost immediately? But it's not, it doesn't work that way. I think once you're past a certain age, this may even differ for certain people. Once you're past a certain age, it is not as easy to make friends with them. And we're going to first talk about why making friends as an adult isn't as easy as making friends as a child, why it is important to even make friends at all, because I know that some people have kind of ruled it off like that is not something that's necessary to them. It's not that important. They are more focused on things like money generating activities like business and their jobs and all of that. And then we're going to talk about the 3 different ways that you can make friends as an adult. The very first thing, like I said, why making friends as an adult isn't as easy as a child. Now, the obvious reason is because we've lost some of that, I would say, childhood innocence. Imagine, for a child, they don't imagine that they would go up to someone and want to make friends with them and anything bad would happen. But for an adult, you've had years and years of people maybe betraying your trust, maybe taking that niceness for granted, maybe people just being outright awful, and you have all those memories. So for you, it's like, oh no, the last time I did this thing, this bad thing happened. The last time I tried this, this is what happened. The last time I did this, this is what happened. So a lot of that innocence is lost in the process, because now you have all these memories that you've kind of attached to. If I do this, this is the goal. If I do this, this is the outcome. If I try this, this is the result. And it prevents a lot of us from even being open to trying to make friends at all. The second reason is because we just have more to do. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time? And in a lot of, in lots of all those scenarios, it's actually true. People have jobs, people have businesses, people have families, they have children, they have things that they are doing. So to imagine, okay, I'm going to take out 2 hours of my time every day to make friends, it's the most absurd thing that I don't imagine anybody is going to say. So we just have a lot on our plate, and you want to prioritize the most important things. So making friends is just not on your radar. And then the third reason, I think there's so many reasons, but I just want to keep this short, is because we know the diversities of people and cultures out there. Now, what I simply mean by this is, that there are psychopaths that live amongst us. That there are killers, there are rapists, there are a lot of different evils, as I like to put it, that's going on in the world. So when you begin to think about human beings that are like that are out there, you don't know who you are speaking to. The one person that you decide to make friends with may be a murderer. Like, we don't know, it's not written on people's heads. But then the opposite side of that is that the person may be the most amazing person in the world, but we don't know that. Again, it's not written on their heads. Now, these are reasons why it is difficult to make friends as an adult, or why we even wouldn't give it a second thought, right? Now, before I even go any further, I think I want to give sort of a disclaimer here. I think there are certain people in the world that are just naturally good at making friends, and they have tons of friends. So this probably isn't for you. I'm just thinking about it now, but this is more towards the people, because so many people over the past couple of years have been talking about how they would want to make more friends. People would say things like, oh, I don't really have any friends, or I have just this one person that's And while that is not bad, a lot of times they want to make friends. It's not that they don't want to. It's that they don't know how to, or they struggle with it. So if you are the kind of person who already has a ton of friends, probably not the best for you. But if you are someone who wants to make friends, but maybe you struggle with it a little bit, or you don't even want to give it that thought, right? So this is then for you. Now, why is it important to make friends? While we have outlined all these different reasons why making friends could be like the worst, I think that, and this is the one reason that I wrote out on why it is important to make friends. I think no one should have to go through this life alone. I read somewhere, I can't remember the book exactly, but the author was talking about how we are all responsible for someone, not necessarily a family member. Because when I say responsible for someone, I know a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, I'm responsible for my kids, I'm responsible maybe for my parents or whatever. Not necessarily a family member, but just someone out there in the world. Is kind of like a soul connection, right? And I think even if it's one person, just one, if it's one good friend that you can have in your entire lifetime, I know that it can make a whole world of difference. And I say this with all of my heart. No one should have to go through this life alone. There are so many complexities. There are so many ups and downs. There are so many moments when just having one person to confide in, or to trust, or to share in that moment with could make all the difference. So I don't think anybody should have to go through this life alone. I think life on its own is a lot to deal with just by yourself. And if you have the slightest opportunity of sharing the experience of life, with someone else, not necessarily a partner, if it's with a partner, beautiful, but still just someone else, right? I think it makes a whole world of difference. Now, 3 ways that you can make friends as an adult. And I think this is just off the top of my head. I need to maybe dig deeper if there are more strategic ways to approaching this, but this is my way. The first is online. The easiest, I have friends, I'm very proud to say I have friends all over the world. I have friends that reside in Asia. I have friends that reside in the US. I have friends that reside in other parts of Africa. I have a lot of friends in Europe, like different Amsterdam, in France, in the UK, all these different places. And simply thanks to social media, just going online, chatting with people. I like to say to my team a lot of times, don't post and ghost, don't post and ghost. If you're in the social media world, you understand what that means. But if you're not in the social media world, it simply means don't be that person that only comes to social media to consume, or to just post something and then you disappear. You're not chatting with anybody, you're not engaging, you're not, participating in anything. Please don't be that person, right? Even if it's just one person. People notice if you are commenting on, let's say you all follow one individual, one influencer, and you're always commenting, and you notice someone that always leaves comments with you as well. It doesn't hurt to send a DM. And that's the strange thing is, I think a lot of us want to make friends. It's just who is going to make the first step? I don't know why. It's so weird. Please, just send someone a DM. Just say hi to them. And platforms like Instagram have made it so interesting now, where if you want to even reply to a comment, you can simply just send a message in response to a previous comment. There are different ways that you can approach this, but I think the central theme is be open to the conversation. Start conversations. Don't be that person that only comes on social media and everybody now come and, oh, I don't like the platform. But you are there every single day. You might as well just use it for something that adds more meaning to your life. The second thing I would advise, which I think everybody knows, but for some reason they don't do it, is to go out to more offline events. So the first one is kind of online forums, groups, social media in general, whichever way that you can find more people, like-minded people, just go and initiate a conversation. Nobody's going to call you a creep. And if they do, please move on. It just happens. Please move on from that. The second, like I said, is offline. Attending more offline events. This may be a little bit more difficult, especially for people that consider themselves introverts. like myself, it may be a little bit more difficult because it then involves like physical, like you have to go there, and then even just thinking about it sometimes it may be a bit difficult. So what I always advise is to go with someone that is familiar, go with a brother, a cousin, a friend, whatever it is. Just go with someone that makes you feel more familiar and you don't just feel kind of lost in the crowd, but definitely go to more offline events. The third way I think we can all just naturally make friends, whether or not it's like online or offline or wherever, is to become more friendlier. I think that we have this idea of who a friend should be or what a friend should be, but we're not emulating that idea. Think to yourself about the kind of things that you imagine a friend would be able to do for you, the kind of things you imagine a friend would be able to help you with, the approach that a friend would have. Do you have that same approach, or do you want it to just be like a one-way kind of thing? Oh, I expect this from this person, but I'm not willing to do the same. Begin to think about that and just naturally become more friendlier. Respond to people's, if someone posts something on their status, why not respond and just kind of cheer them on? Like, it's that simple. If someone puts something on their profile, just respond and just be happy for them. I think it's just a matter of becoming more friendlier. You don't even have to have something very specific to say. You could just cheer them on, like put an emoji or what else are they even called now? A sticker, a GIF, whatever it is. In just that natural state of being more friendlier, people even would begin to think of you as more of a friend because you are in a way kind of there for them, and it just naturally spikes up friendship. So consider either of any of these three things, or maybe all of them, and see if that's able to help in making more friends. I know for a fact that it has helped me tons of times. So let me know in the comments if you have any. Like I said, I need to do maybe some deeper research into this. How do you make friends? When you think about maybe the way that you made your last couple of friends, how would you make friends as an adult? Not necessarily childhood friends. I think childhood friends are just a given, like it's default. But as an adult, do you have special strategies for making friends online, offline, in any way? I would love to know.